Alright, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. And like I said yesterday, it is not looking good for Tampon Tan Walls and Ilhan Omar. And not only that, I showed y'all the videos of the young journalist, 23-year-old Nick Shirley. You know, pretty much went to Minnesota, went to all these daycares, these clinics and stuff like that. And most of these daycares, and wasn't no kids there. So they've been lying and collecting paychecks. And then we just got even more footage of the man that was with the young 23-year-old journalist who broke the news. And not only that, his video, his 42-minute video got 100 million views exposing Somalis in Minnesota, like lying, they blacking out their wonders, they lying and saying that it's supposed to be like 90 kids up in this daycare, but yet come to find out no kids is there. It never was any kids, and they collecting checks like $1.9 million a year off lies. And it just got even worse. So we definitely about to dive straight into this. We got a lot to get to because, like I said, the man that was with Nick Shirley said he done went to over 50 daycares in Minnesota, and none of them have kids there. So they just go to show you about all this fraud, about all this stealing. Now we find out the reason why, Ilhan Omar net worth is now more than $30 million due to all this fraud. And Tampon Tan Walls didn't do anything about it. He let it slide. Even when his own employees told him about it, he told them to shut up and keep quiet while the fraud had continued. So like I said, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. And let me know down below in the comment section on this video that you did stay to the end. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Now, before we get into some of the clips, I want y'all to see this right here. By Eric Daughter, he said, wow, it's been revealed that Ilhan Omar's husband's $30 million firm has scrubbed former Obama official names from its website. Why? Because the fraud is heating up. So let's make sure we read that again. Wow, it's been revealed that Ilhan Omar's husband's $30 million firm has scrubbed former Obama official names from its website. Then they say Obama ambassador to Bahrain Adam Areli, former senator and Obama ambassador to China Max Baucus, DNC Finance Chair Associate Alex Hoffman, former DNC Treasurer William DeRoe, former ex-CEO Amalgamated Bank Keith Mestrich, who once described Amalgamated as the institutional bank of the Democratic Party per New York Post. Imagine that. The firm's value went from nearly zero to up to $25 million in just 1 year. She was basically broke when she came into the office, and now she's worth perhaps up to $30 million. She needs to come clean on these assets. Wow. Like, this right here is freaking insane. And then it's over here by infuriating fraud. Somalis buy cash homes in Minnesota, morph them into home health, and it all happens right under the noses of Minnesota citizens. So I want y'all to check out what this young lady right here just said.
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center.
Wow.
She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes, and these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars, and the government here in Minnesota is too lazy to Go and check it out
Yep.
and see if there's even clients living in these homes. The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts.
Wow. And this is what's going on in Tim Walsh's Minnesota. They buying up homes and saying it's going to be this, it's going to be that, but come to find out it's just one big scam. You see Mercedes-Benz is showing up. You see BMWs, brand new cars all of a sudden. I showed y'all a video yesterday that where it's supposed to be students in this, like I said, this daycare, but yet you had Somali outside the building smoking cigarettes and stuff and got exposed. They shut the door up in Nick Shirley's face when he was asking them questions like, hey, where's the kids that's supposed to be here? And they had no answer. And Eric Dollar said Tim Walsh knew about this. Ilhan Omar knew about this. Attorney General Keith Ellison knew. Minnesota Democrat officials knew. They endorsed the Somali fraud because it helps them keep power. Race needs to happen. More people need to be arrested, and these voters needs to clean house. That's exactly what he said. And like I say, even Elon Musk came out. He said, breaking, Elon Musk calls for the prosecution of Tim Walsh after a Somali Learning Center, which is supposed to have been learning, but they had Learning Center still got taxpayer funds despite known violations. Prosecute Tim Walsh, he knew. Why did they still receive funding and keep their license after so many violations and Zoolander level obviously fraud? Like, this is crazy. Then you can see them right here. It's a breaking. Americans are demanding immediate raids on Somali child and daycare centers after FBI agents were recently spotted raiding a Somali health services building in Minnesota. Kash Patel says agents are all over the region. I support raids, and you can see that they went in there and raided this building right here. So it's just so much fraud going on in Minnesota, and you see the reason why Tim Walsh is shaking right now. You see the reason why Ilhan Omar is just shaking in her boots right now. And even, like I said, check this out. It said, breaking, FBI Director Kash Patel says Somali fraudsters are being referred for denaturalization and deportation, and that what we publicly know is only the tip of a very large iceberg. We will continue to follow the money and protect children, and this investigation very much remains ongoing. Furthermore, many are also being referred to immigration officials for possible further denaturalization and deportation proceedings where eligible. Send them back. Then Eric Dog going to say, just in the FBI is surging investigative criminal units into Minnesota, and public takedowns of more Somali fraudsters are likely coming soon. The FBI sources tell YouTuber Benny Johnson. They say they're seeing the same kind of fraud Nick Shirley exposed. More, we need mass raids and arrests. Do not let this go. So like I said, you can see like they are not playing around at all. So and this guy right here, he's talking about he pretty much gonna reach out to Nick Shirley. Like I said, I'll show y'all who Nick Shirley is in just a second. Like I said, he's a young 23-year-old journalist that exposed so much, and his video has went nuclear viral, reaching over 100 million views. You can see that breaking, the committee chair, Senator Ron Johnson, just said he's reaching out to Nick Shirley about the Somali fraud in Minnesota and will subpoena all relevant financial records and documents. He said this is blowing up. Good, do not let up. He said we've already reaching out to Nick Shirley and David and other people who can provide testimony, but we also need documents. Somalis have just been in this country a few years. These agencies, heads who funnel the federal money to the state agencies, they have to demand the state agencies are transparent. In Democrat states, they're not. I have subpoena power. I will use that subpoena power to obtain these records. These amateurs, the federal government is probably the easiest player to fleece, and states do it time and time again. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So, and like I said, it just keeps going on. It's just more posts. Everybody's speaking now. Everybody is talking about this. Like I said, because I showed y'all the clips, but ever since I showed y'all the clips that I showed y'all, it just didn't went just nuclear viral. And now they said Tim Walsh is just into hiding right now. He's hiding. Just in a post from Governor Tim Walsh is resurfacing where he admitted to giving a raise to so-called child care providers. It's now on video that these child care providers are set up by Somalis to fraudulently take millions or billions of dollars from taxpayers. Tim is complicit. He knew shut it down, and put him on trial. Boy, you can see his tweet right here. Minnesota economy doesn't work without child care providers, so we're giving them a raise. And that was back in 2023. You got to realize fraud was still going on then, because fraud been going on for the last 3 or 4 years in Minnesota, and Tim Walz's name is all over it. Ilhan Omar's name is all over it, and they know exactly what they're doing. And say even J.D. Vance eviscerates Tim Walz, Minnesota. Let's see, for rampant immigration fraud, voter fraud, and monetary fraud. Politicians like it because they get power. Welfare chiefs like it because they get rich. What's happening in Minnesota, and like I said, all this coming from J.D. Vance. He said, what's happening in Minnesota is a microcosm of the immigration fraud in our system. He said, it's a zero-sum game, and they're stealing both money and political power from Minnesotans. 48 knows what's up. We need mass raids now. So y'all see, everybody is just coming out and speaking on this all of a sudden. Because like I said at first, some people were speaking on it. Now you got J.D. Vance coming out, saying more stuff about this. You got everybody coming out. Fox News even covering it now.
So millions and millions of taxpayer dollars have just disappeared.
Yeah, millions and millions of taxpayer dollars have disappeared.
And how do you think the government let this go on for so long without doing anything?
Because Walz is getting a kickback. You know he is. He's sitting in a mansion. We had a $6 billion deficit. You know what these senators did? They came out and blamed it on Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump did nothing. Nothing wrong. All these people, these Democrats, are blaming everything on Donald Trump when they can't hold our governor accountable in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, Donald Trump doesn't live here. He's not in charge of all these Somalians. It's really easy to figure out the fraud. All you have to do is go to one of these businesses and see that no one is working in there and there's no children in there. It's very easy to figure out the fraud, but yet Governor Walz, the people working for him, couldn't figure it out.
Nope, they couldn't until the federal government pressured them, until the Minnesota House was taken over by Republicans.
So had not Donald Trump won the election here, this Somalian fraud would just continue to go on.
Correct.
I cannot believe the fucking fraud in Minnesota. They have childcare centers. They have these buildings that are set up to be run as childcare centers, and there's no kids in them. There is nobody in these buildings. They have this one, big complex. Like, it had multiple childcare centers in it, and not one of them had any kids in it. Like, do you understand the level of fraud it takes to build these businesses, go out, purchase the actual space, and then not put any kids in the actual spaces? But, it just tells you that the people that were supposed to go out and inspect these places, they never went out there and followed up and came back again, if they even did in the first place. But the level of fraud that has happened in Minnesota is absolutely catastrophic. I think we started out, on a $9 billion level, and I think we're moving up to $18 billion of fraud. And if you understand how much money it takes to run Minnesota, that is way more than what their budget is. That is way more than what should ever have been taken. Like, the level of scandalous action that has taken place in Minnesota, we should be calling on Governor Tim Walz to be arrested. Not just arrested, but extremely investigated. That this individual is sitting there saying, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and talking about, all these different things. This individual should be in trouble, because the amount of money that has been taken from Americans and sent to Somalia, we will never get that money back. That money's gone. And someone should be held accountable for this. Like extremely held accountable for this, because DHS actually went to Tim Walz and said there was a huge issue. And he said, no, there's not. I'm not investigating it. I'm going to look the other way. $18 billion. 18 billion reasons why Tim Walz should be investigated.
So let's get to this by saying Justin Representative Tom Emmer says prosecution is on the table against Governor Tim Walz and AG Keith Ellison, because whistleblowers are now coming forward with bombshell claims of retribution for trying to expose fraud.
I do, but here's the difference. In Minnesota, this has been going on for years. I told you, we've known about the daycare fraud for the past decade. We've been trying to sound the alarm on the rest of the fraud for the last 3 years, and it wasn't until President Trump, who I'm very grateful for him actually saying something about it, made this a national story that people started paying attention. And here's the difference. Minnesota, it's apparently a business. Whistleblowers are coming forward, and if they are real, Mike, and if what they're saying can be documented, and what they're saying is they told Tim Walz, they told Keith Ellison about the fraud when it was happening,
Yep.
and they not only didn't do anything, they retaliated against them.
Yep.
Mike, if that's true, if that can be documented, these guys need to be prosecuted, held accountable, and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And the other difference here is the taxpayer dollars in Minnesota, billions were being shipped overseas to a known terrorist group, Al-Shabaab,
Right.
back
Al
in
Shabaab.
Somalia. So
Yep.
this is much bigger in Minnesota. I do not disagree with Governor Braun that it probably is happening elsewhere as well.
And he didn't stop there. Let's check this out.
23. Well, it's amazing to me that a 23-year-old journalist, a YouTuber, who's now got over 80 million views on this thing, found more in a matter of hours than Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, have found in 7 years, Mike.
Yep.
I got to tell you, we've known in Minnesota about the daycare fraud for a decade. Keith Ellison is our current Attorney General. His predecessor, Lori Swanson, was actually investigated.
And you can see right here, it's supposed to say Learning Center, but it say Leering. This is just part of the fraud. And you tell me this right here is still up? Leering Center? When it's supposed to say Learning Center?
In the daycare fraud and prosecuting back in 2017 and 18. As soon as Ellison became the Attorney General and Walz became the governor, all of that stopped. And now you see the result. Billions of dollars, it has been alleged, that they have fraudulently built out of Minnesota. There was a housing stabilization program that was created in 2020. It's through the Medicaid program, a different one other than daycare. They spent $161 million. It was estimated it was going to be $2 million a year, Mike. From 2020 until they shut it down in October, it was $161 million. This daycare fraud, there's one woman in particular who created a fake daycare and built $14 million on her own. This thing is huge. Tim Walz is absolutely singing a false song.
Exactly. And so now y'all see the reason why Tim Walz is into hiding now. This is the young 23-year-old Nick Shirley. Like I said, I've showed y'all clips. Make sure you go watch the video. My last 2-3 videos, I did videos on this. So make sure y'all go back and watch it. Now, all of a sudden, after, the 23-year-old Nick Shirley, exposed the Somalis, now it seemed like they was caught on camera following Nick Shirley after he exposed them and got all that footage on camera. And now all of a sudden, he's leaving. He's in his car, he's leaving. And Somalis are pretty much stalking him and stuff like that. So check this out. Say, holy crap, I missed the part where Somalis were stalking and following Nick Shirley and Dave after they got daycare fraud on camera. Now we're being followed by Somalis. We have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle now. Look at this.
Now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million. Within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
Then you see this woman right here. This is a liberal lady. She literally telling them in the building, the Somalis, don't open up because it's ICE. And then you'll hear Nick Shirley pretty much say, ma'am, I'm not ICE, I'm a YouTuber. And she continues to say, don't open up, it's ICE. Like, this is crazy.
How do you have ICE here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million
Don't
over
open
the
up! It's ice!
$4 million?
So she ain't even listening to what they saying.
Nope.
She just constantly
Dumbass.
reporting and saying, don't open up, it's ICE. And they trying to explain to her what's going on and the reason why they are there.
Dollars in the last 2 years.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Yeah.
Go
She's in favor.
away!
You know
You're
what it-
not welcome here!
Are you-
Shame on you!
Are you in favor of $1.9
Shame
million
on you. It's
going
ice.
illegally
Don't open up!
fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
This is
I
crazy.
don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
That woman said, I don't care who you are, you don't belong. How you gonna tell him where he belongs? Like she's not even the owner. She just somebody that's just walking by and saying that he don't belong there.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up, it's ICE!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state.
Look, she ain't got nothing to say now. They talking about, oh, hey, it's supposed to be children here. It's supposed to be, what, 99 children, but it's no children here, and they collected money. They collected $1.9 million at the end of every year. And now she just, look how she's looking now.
In Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of
And that right there is just one of the videos right there. But like I say, it continues to go. Now, this is the man that was with him. If you see this right here, he said, "Holy smokes!" The man who was in Nick Shirley's video has gone to 50 Somali daycares on his own, and not one has children. You tell me he went to 50 in Minnesota, and not one had kids. Then no one of them had children in it. So let's check out what he said.
Massive fraud is going on here in the state of Minnesota, especially in Minneapolis. Explain to me what's going on with the daycares.
So one of the things that I've noticed is there's an exceptional number of child care centers that are set up mostly in Minneapolis, but also in St. Paul. And I said, wow, how many kids are there in the Twin Cities? Some of them are by my office, and I would watch, and I said, well, there aren't any kids there. And I go to another one, there aren't any kids there, and I'd see just some Somali guys outside smoking cigarettes. So I stopped at one of them, and I said, hey, I'm just wondering, I've got a grandson who's looking for childcare, and I wonder if this might be a good facility. And they said, no, we're all full. And they had the door open, and I looked, and there were no kids. There was like a couch and a table with a couple chairs. And I said, well, are the kids out back playing, or what kind of place is this? And the guy said, you go. And he almost pushed me out the door, and then he followed me down the street to my car. And that's when I said, wait a minute, there's something going on here. And that's got to be maybe 5 years ago. This fraud is so massive.
Wow.
When the dust settles on this, it's going to be found to be the largest fraud in the history of the country and probably the world. It's that big. The ones that I've gotten data on, they average about $2.5 million a year, and a lot of them will say they have anywhere from 80 to 120 children. I've been to literally 40 or 50 of these childcare, and there never has been a single child at any one of them ever. Morning, afternoon, evening. Some of them say they're open till 10 o'clock at night. I go there in the morning, I go there in the afternoon, I go there at 9 o'clock at night. Nobody. There are no kids there ever.
Wow. And he said he did this. It was 5 years ago. So they just go to show you how long this fraud been going on, and they've been getting away with it. Because of course, if Democrats in office, they're not going to do anything about it. So that's the reason why they were fighting so hard for President Trump to lose and wanted the Democrats to stay in power, so they can continue this fraud.